is time once again for another Chicago Bears post-game show following a thrilling victory in Cincinnati over the Bengals. I was jumping up and down at the end of this one, folks, and I was officially scaring the shit out of my dog and my wife. But that is football sometimes, and you got to do what you got to do. We are talking about it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly on today's Bears post-game show right here on the kenikkasports channel. But first, if this is your first time here, please do us a favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please ring that bell, everybody, for our mascot, Freckles, a.k.a. Frexy. Yes, she just heard her name, and she looked over at my direction before resuming her mid-morning nap. But damn it, is she cute, and she just fills me up with love and joy, and I want to share it with you, the listeners.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. All right, Nika, what a thrilling Bears game. Oh, my goodness. The Bears win 47-42 on the road. What a thriller. 17 seconds left. The Bears take the lead in this one after surrendering a 14-point lead with like 4 minutes left. My goodness. We went from jumping off the bridge to jumping for joy. You know who else was jumping for joy? Our guy, WWE injured star Seth Rollins.
The biggest fan.
He was threading about it, everyone. Not tweeting, but threading. He says, I have lost years of my life in 10 minutes, but I love football. I heartily agree with him. I loved the ending of this game. I hope I didn't shave 10 years off of my life. No. But I was jumping up and down, and I was frustrated before that, watching us blow this 14-point lead that we had built. Nevertheless, the Bears get it done on the road, and they get a lot done. Mm-hmm. We are going to be talking about all of the good, of course. But before we do, one final quick cool nugget. Look at every single angle of this final play. There's a tweet the Bears put out yesterday, I believe. Yes, yesterday afternoon, and it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 camera angles of the final play, sunk up to Bears radio audio guy Jeff Joniak. I think that's who it was. Okay. No, it was Lou Canellis. Damn, I get my old Chicago broadcasters screwed up. Lou Canellis with the call on WESPN radio. I think that's where they're on now. No, I can't keep track. We don't live there anymore, so sorry. Sorry, Bears fans. Anyways, check out this video, though. Cool angle, multi-angle, 17 cameras. Go check it out. Okay. Awesome play. Just a great ending. All right, well, let's get going here with the good in this game, Nika.
There was a lot of good.
There was a lot of good, but I want to focus in on our guy, number 18, Caleb Williams. He played more than good here. I won't go as far as to say as playing great necessarily, but he was more than good, and he had like a really fun game. I want to talk about more of that in a minute, but if you look at the full box score really quick, holy cow, folks, the Bears, I mean, they score 47 points. My goodness, that's awesome. That's what we're looking at with the Ben Johnson offense is score points, right?
Yes.
So good to see the Bears score some points, but also the yardage, 576 total yards by the Bears offense. That is the most by a Bears offense since December 7th, 1980. 45 years. I mean, and
that's
through the whole Super Bowl era and everything, they never did that. That's pretty damn special.
Yeah.
That leads me to believe, Nika, that the Ben Johnson effect is real. You know,
I bet nobody had that on the bingo card.
We were talking about it in the beginning of the year, in the preseason, you know, like what is the Ben Johnson effect going to be? Well, we've had to be a little bit more patient than I think we wanted to be as Bears fans, but the Ben Johnson effect appears to be real. And if these are going to be some of the fruits of that labor, I'm excited for the future of Bears offense. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We also have to embrace what's happening, and that the Bears are starting to do something that I've been asking for a while. Mm-hmm. They are starting to look and show that they are having fun on offense. And I think that's part of the problem that's been here for a while is that there's just been so much pressure to like put up numbers and perform. And it's like, we're playing a game at the end of the day. We should be having fun out here. Mm-hmm. And part of that is play calling, play design, and what's happening, you know, and circumstances. But it's really cool to see what happened in this game. We had DJ Moore throwing a touchdown pass to Caleb Williams. We had Tyson Bagent come into the game and throw a pass to Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams caught 2 passes in this game for 22 yards and a touchdown. I mean, if he is a fantasy wide receiver, he would have had 10 some points. I got those points this week. I started Caleb at quarterback, but he got receiving points for me.
Oh, nice.
Because they count. So really cool. I mean, I was really only hoping that he could somehow figure out a way to get a rushing touchdown, because I would be very curious if anyone's ever had a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown all in the same game. I don't know if that's ever happened before, but I think I'm going to predict right now that Caleb Williams will do this at one point in his career. He didn't play great this week at quarterback, but he had a good game. And in my opinion, he just showed that he's going to be a special player. Mm-hmm. He showed that he's a football player.
Yeah.
You know, he reminds me of Walter Payton. Walter Payton was more than a running back. You know, he was a football player. If you know, you know. And Walter Payton, you know, was a well-rounded football player. And it's pretty cool that Caleb Williams is too, even though he's a quarterback.
You just need a right coach to get that out of you. And
absolutely.
maybe Ben Johnson is that coach.
It was just so cool to see all of this happening and all of the different people getting involved. I think we even saw Cole Kmet throw a pass out there as well. So
it's a team effort.
Crazy times in Bears offensive play calling, and I'm here for it, everybody. I've been waiting my whole life for this. That's not an over-exaggeration at all. Right. Well, speaking of breakouts, Colstan Loveland had a huge breakout game. He gets his first career touchdown catch. And then he gets the game-winning catch later. 2 touchdown catches in this one, Nika. 118 yards receiving. That is a breakout game for the number 1 overall draft pick last season for the Bears. And then we had their final draft pick last year, their 7th rounder, Kyle Monangai, looking like the best running back in the NFL out there this weekend, everybody. 176 yards rushing on 26 carries, like a 6.8 average. That is crazy. Now, I know it's the Bengals, and we talked about this ahead of time. They were the worst defense in the league coming into this game.
That's okay. You got to practice.
Nevertheless, you got to beat up on the teams that are in front of you when you have these opportunities. Imagine if the Bears offense would have struggled this week.
Oh, it'd be awful.
The fans would be calling for Caleb's head. They would be calling for Bagent. It would be worse.
Of course.
So
that shut them up.
At least we don't have to deal with that this week. For that, we are grateful. I also want to mention our guy, Great Britain Brown. He gets a rushing touchdown in this game, and boy, did he sure look explosive and fast doing it. So just an all-around great offensive performance by the Bears, especially, you know, you had your top 2 running backs out going into the season, DeAndre Swift and Roschon Johnson. So good for the rookie to step up. Great Britain.
Is that his nickname now?
I think so.
Okay.
All right. Well, I want to mention one more thing before we move on to the bad for the Bears in this game, and that is Caleb Williams has now tied Justin Fields with Bears wins as starting quarterback in 2.5, basically in a season and a half, what Justin Fields did in 3 years with the Bears. So Caleb has equaled what Fields did in half the time. We made the right decision, everybody. You don't have to look at the past anymore and wonder what if. This was the right move. That's all that I'm trying to say.
People are going to still say what if. It's a great statistic. You're not going to change everybody's mind.
You're not. But look at all these points we put on the board. 47, 576 yards, first time since 1980. I mean, I think we made the right choice.
Yeah.
I think the argument can at least be finally over for that. I'm talking to you, Black Ditka, on Twitter. You know who you are. You know who you are. All right, let's talk about the bad. I am focusing on for this game is the penalty situation and the opening kickoff. Let's start with the penalty situation. Now, the penalty situation is actually much better this week than it has been. It's moved up from the ugly category to
the bad category,
but it's still bad. We were much better though. I want to point that out. You can't argue that. We had 7 penalties though still.
So that's 4 less than last week.
However, only 43 yards. That's about half. The amount of yards. And the personal fouls seem to be gone in this game. And those are killer, man. Those are automatic first downs when you're on defense for the offense. So those are back-breaking penalties when you get those. So good job on cleaning up, like, not getting late hits and that kind of garbage. The Bengals, by the way, were penalized 7 times for 49 yards in this game. I can't remember the last time the Bears actually won the penalty battle against the team they were playing. So
this might be the first game in this season.
It might be. Nevertheless, 7 penalties, still pretty bad. I'd like to see a 5 or less game. I really would. I'm still going to issue that challenge, despite the fact that this was much better. Now, the other bad. We gave up a kickoff return touchdown in this game, Nika. Like, it was 7-0 before I even turned the damn game on. But I do think it brings up a bigger issue, which is that for me, from my vantage point, and I watch, you know, the Bears kickoff return team is not good this year for some reason. They are just giving up tons of yardage. And I looked at the stats and it backs it up. 8 kickoff returns in this game for 297 total yards. Damn, I know the return is in there and it's factored in, but that's like 35 to 40 yards on average a return. And we've seen this happen in other games where the Bears have a lead late in a game and then the other team runs it out to like beyond the 40 and all of a sudden they just need a play or two to be in field goal range. It's like, guys, we really need to tighten this up. We need some headhunters out there. I'm not saying go for the other guys' heads, but you call them headhunters because they're like, you need some crazies. You need some guys that are just like, blah, like Tasmanian devil, like. Blah, 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 blah,
oh, Jacob Fatu comes to mind.
Yeah, they need some Jacob Fatu types on the Bears kickoff return team, everybody. But those are my bad things that I was focused on this week. And all in all, I will say that it's not necessarily that it should go unnoticed, but those are not like as bad as we've had in previous weeks, you know?
Improvements.
So the fact that we're focusing on like penalties and kickoff return teams here and not like on bigger problems, I think it's an improvement. So we got to talk about the ugly, Nika.
Oh, that's right. We missed the ugly.
And for this week, I put the passing defense in there because Joe Flacco, the 40-year-old wonder, he had a hell of a week against us. He threw for 449 yards in the air against this Bears defense. We got torched by a 40-year-old quarterback, Nika.
I think that was his record.
That's ugly.
But that was his record, too.
Well, I mean, he's not bad.
No,
he's
a good
comeback Joe Flacco right now.
Yeah.
He's been killer in like the final 5 minutes of games. If you go back and look, and the announcer of the game even said when the Bears were up 41-27 with like 4 minutes left, like, well, it's time for the Bengals comeback, everybody. And it's like, sure as shit, they literally came back. I wanted to choke that announcer with his tie, but however, I got to remind everyone, like, all right, Tyreek Stevenson was hurt. He was back this week, but we don't know if he's kind of playing injured, if he's banged up. We just don't know.
Okay.
And Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon are out for the season. You know, like that's 3 out of our 4 starting defensive backs. Like we are hurting there. So I'm not necessarily surprised by the result, but it seems like another thing is happening here too. Like we have a breakdown at the end of halves and at the end of games. And this even goes back a little bit to last year. And I just feel like we play a little bit too soft and too safe at the end of halves and at the end of games, like when we're up. And this has to stop. Now, it's a bit of a catch-22 because we also are really struggling to get any pass rush. We have been brutal there. And, oh, by the way, our guy, the name that we cannot say, Dio Odangbo, he is out for the season, Nika, with an Achilles injury. He left the game and he is now out for the year. So he was our big free agent pass rusher that we signed in the offseason.
And he's out.
He's out, and who knows when he's going to be back even next year. So when you have no pass rush and you're playing in a prevent D, you're giving the offense time to find something open, and they will dink and duck you underneath and move the ball down the field pretty quickly. I think there needs to be a little bit of a shift in philosophy and strategy here if I'm the Bears. And it was really relevant this week against a quarterback who will pick you apart. The Bengals were projected to put up points this year.
Well, they have in the last game.
They have an offense. So now The Bears get out with the win. Thank goodness. All right. So that's the ugly. And hopefully maybe some trade help will help the Bears get a better pass rush here. Because without it, I feel and I fear that the passing defense may stay in an ugly territory for the remainder of the season. And I don't know what that does to our chances of making the playoffs. Because right now the Bears are in the playoff hunt. They're also in the NFC North hunt, everybody, after the Packers lose a home game to the Carolina Panthers. Ouch. Ouch.
It happens.
Well, let it be a lesson to you, Bears, because up next we have the Giants, everybody. And the Giants are awful this year. They are playing at Soldier Field. This is a game that the Bears really need to win. And I am saying it's a big week for the future. If you're 6-3 after this week, you are definitely looking like a stronger contention team for the playoffs. I'm not saying we're going to make it, but you put yourself in a much better position, through 9 games at 6-3 versus 5-4, and this is a winnable game.
Don't play down to your competition.
Don't play down to your competition. This is a big week for Ben Johnson. This is another week where Caleb Williams should put up some numbers. We remember watching Dallas torch the New York Giants secondary, everybody. So if we can torch Dallas's secondary, we can torch New York's. It's a big game, big week for I want to see it. I want to see back-to-back weeks of Caleb Williams putting up big game numbers and having fun. Have fun.
I think that's the key to winning games. Put some fun. Take off that pressure.
Yeah. I think it's been one of the biggest problems with the Bears offense through the years, through the Jay Cutler years, through the Rex Grossman years. It's like everyone's like, when are we going to get a quarterback? When are we going to get a quarterback? When are we going to get a quarterback?
They have the media breathing down their necks constantly.
And then they want to be like, okay, maybe we should exercise some patience. Like I saw Dan Weirder tweet this morning, and it's like, who are you kidding, man? He's like the first one to criticize Caleb and be like, okay, it has to be better. Has to be better. Cost the Bears a win today. Okay. Maybe it will be. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Bears Postgame Show. The good, the bad, and the ugly from the W on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. I had a great time watching it, jumping up and down at the end for victory joy. And it is a Victory Tuesday right here on the Kenikka Sports Show. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you on Friday to talk about this Giants game, everybody. Go Bears!
The Bears.
The Bears.
Thank you, Superfans.